How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me is Leonard. This is a show about wrestling, and this week we are bringing you another edition of our Unstable Stables series, and we're bringing you Heenan Family Part 2, the WWF years. So a little bit about Unstable Stables. Basically, we take a faction or a group of wrestlers and we tally all the people that were involved in said group or faction, and Leonard and I draft them into teams that we represent, and we take those teams and we fashion a makeshift card out of the number of talent that we each have. We have a lot of fun doing it. We get to discuss the faction as we go along, and we've already discussed, in part one, the start of Bobby Heenan's stable of wrestlers known as the Heenan family. It started pre-WWF, and it spanned multiple promotions. And because he has managed so many people, I mean, he's the greatest of all time, right? I mean, at least in the Mount Rushmore of managers. And he's managed so many people that we had to do two parts of this. And, it'll make it more fun as a result. So who all did Bobby Heenan manage in the WWF? Well, let me read off the names of people that we have here. We have Adrian Adonis, Andre the Giant, the Barbarian, Big John Studd, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Buddy Rose, Haku, Harley Race, Hercules, Tama, King Kong Bundy, Lex Luger, The Missing Link, Mr. Perfect, Paul Orndorff, The Red Rooster, Ric Flair, Rick Rude, Siva Afi, and as a bonus in a separate capacity, the Brooklyn Brawler. It's almost better that we didn't use him because I feel like he would have absolutely been drafted last and would have lost any match that he was involved in. So
True. Now, I also should be mentioned Ken Patera. Patera was part of the AWA as well, so
right.
He's not being repeated because we used him in part one.
Right, absolutely.
I believe Patera is the only one who Heenan managed outside of the WWF and inside the WWF. So he's the only guy who can carry over.
If memory serves, I believe that is correct. Yeah. And also, I believe you get first pick this time. Is that right?
I do, because you had first pick last time, which was Nick Bockwinkel, who we both thought was a clear number one. And I think the clear number one this time is Ric Flair.
See, that's interesting to me. I'm a clear number one. See, he is, I would say, one of the number ones. And you know what? Had I picked first, I would not have picked Ric Flair. I would have picked Andre the Giant.
Really? See, Andre was not who would have been my number two, because my number two is going to be Curt Hennig.
Damn it. All right. Well, that's a good number two for sure. You know what? I need some speed on my team for sure, because you're getting all the technical wrestling ability. So I am going to pick Rick Rude.
Rick Rude would have been my three if you would have left him on the board. I am going to do, I think, a big jumping of the gun because I think I need to. I'm taking Arn Anderson.
See, this is an occasion where I know what you're doing, and the case could be made to separate who you're trying to go for, more so than in the past times we've done this. But
do whatever you want.
He was not going to be my next pick, so there's that. My next pick will be Lex Luger.
All right, and I will, just to stop you going off what you said, I'll go ahead and take Tully Blanchard now and just complete that tag team.
All right. And my next pick, this is where it starts to get a little tough, I would believe. But, because I think this guy was more in his prime at this point, I'm going to go with Paul Orndorff.
Paul Orndorff would have been next for me, and I think he is someone you're getting in his prime at this point. I'm going to take, only because he would have been in his prime, and I do have a plan. I'm taking King Kong Bundy.
Yeah, he was in my head as well. All right, so I am going to go with someone that I feel is underrated, and that is the mighty Hercules.
Okay, no, Herc is great. I always liked Herc. I think he was underrated, especially at this point in his career.
His stint with Bobby Heenan was not very long.
No,
And like
but it was a great angle where Heenan sold his contract to Ted DiBiase.
Yeah,
And then that's how Herc turned face. That was great. You know what? I'm going to do something else here that may cost me, but may work in my favor. I'm going to take Haku.
All right. Well, there goes my chance at crafting an actual tag team.
Yes.
That's yeah, the tag team championship match. Although I don't actually have one of those matches on here.
No, we do have a tag team match.
We do have a tag team match, not for championship, but we could change that.
Yeah.
All right. Then I'm going to choose Harley Race.
You know, I would have went Harley Race right before Haku, but I tell you, and again, you have to keep this in mind. You're getting Harley Race very much at the end of his career.
Yeah.
This is not prime Harley Race.
Yeah, I mean, his biggest match at this point was, I think it was on a Saturday Night's Main Event, he and Hogan.
Which is pretty good. Which is a pretty good match.
Yeah,
and that's actually where Race injured his back on a table.
Right.
And actually, he would come back from that, and he and Haku had a match for the King title, which is actually a pretty good match where he kind of passed the torch to Haku. So I'll just go ahead and take Tama.
All right. You're just getting all the tag teams, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. Then I believe, you know what? I'm going to choose Big John Studd.
Okay. And you know what? I'm going to complete the Samoans. I'm going to take Stevie Affy as well, who I don't remember where he fits in the Samoan dynasty. I'd have to go back and look.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm going to choose Adrian Adonis.
Okay. And again, I have a plan. I'm going Barbarian.
Oh, I know what you're doing now.
Yeah.
It took me a second, but now I think I get where you're going now. All right. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, as they say.
Yes, as some people say.
I'm going to choose Buddy Rose.
Okay. I'm going with Red Rooster. You know what? He's a good worker. Terry Taylor was a good worker.
He was. Wouldn't put too much stock in that. Don't put him in your main event, Leonard.
No, I don't think I'm going to do that.
All right, then that would leave me with the missing link. I believe that's the last one.
That is correct from what I had.
All right. So let's go down the teams here. I have Adrian Adonis, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, Buddy Rose, Harley Race, Hercules, Lex Luger, The Missing Link, Paul Orndorff, and Rick Rude. Leonard has The Barbarian, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Haku, Tama, King Kong Bundy, Mr. Perfect, The Red Rooster, Ric Flair, and Siva Afi. All right. So now starts our makeshift card.
Yep.
First match gets chosen by me. I get to first pick of wrestler.
First.
It is just a plain old one-on-one match, and I'm going to give you the missing link.
Okay. You know, looking at all the matches and what I think I want to do, I'm going to give you Curt Hennig.
Okay. Wow. That's kind of surprising, but Kurt Hennig against the Missing Link is an obvious win for the Missing Link. No, I mean, we're talking about Mr. Perfect, one of the great gimmicks. He and Bobby Heenan were so great together. That gif of Bobby Heenan just barely catching the towel behind his back is classic. I will put that up here if I can. Sometimes that stuff gets ripped down. But anyway, this is an easy win for Kurt Hennig. I don't know that this is going to be a great match. The Missing Link was such a weird character. And I don't even know if people even remember him being associated with Bobby Heenan. But there you have it. Squash match to start, unless you're a closet Missing Link fan.
No. I think it's a styles clash.
Yes.
I think it's an interesting matchup because Kurt Hennig could get a good match out of just about anybody. So can he get something good out of the Missing Link? And I use Kurt Hennig here because, as we'll see, I don't want to. He doesn't slot into what else I have. So Kurt gives me the easy win to open the show, and I'll rock with that.
Absolutely. All right. Our next match is 4 versus 4. Leonard, who are you giving me?
I think you're getting Haku, Tama, Civi, Affy, and the Barbarian.
All right. So those are 2 tag teams teaming up. Can they be a cohesive unit? We shall see. I am going to give them Adrian Adonis, Big John Studd, Buddy Rose, and Harley Race. Okay. So you have 2 tag teams. I have guys that are not going to job to these guys. That's the best argument I have. No. I mean, we're talking about Buddy Rose and Harley Race are, more at the end of their career. Adrian Adonis, who knows? He was still good to go, I guess, to a point. I had thought about teaming Big John Studd and Andre the Giant and just calling the tag team We Hate Each Other. Something like that. But no, we put Big John Studd here. I think power-wise and experience-wise, I think my team has the edge.
I think my team is tougher and meaner in real life, other than probably Harley Race, but Haku trumps Race. My other 3 guys trump the other guys. They are all part of that Pacific Island family. I think they mesh better as a team overall. You say they're 2 tag teams, but they're 4 guys who know each other and who work with each other. I think they have the chemistry factor. And again, I think they're rougher, tougher, meaner, and more of my guys are in their prime than your guys.
That's true. So if you think your team's going to win, who would be the guy that does the job on my side?
Definitely Buddy Rose.
Okay.
I say I would say probably Haku takes out Buddy Rose.
All right. You know what? I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Your argument makes sense. I think that it would have been cool to see a Big John Studd and Barbarian clash. I feel
they probably, because a lot of times when you talk about say mid 80s WWF and such, all these guys were around each other, but you didn't see matches like Barbarian versus Big John Studd because they were all heels. Usually, right. If you're a heel, you're a heel. You're a face, you're a face. There wasn't a lot of turns back then. So it kind of, especially when I do like these fantasy booking type things, I go back and I look and I'm surprised to see who had never faced off before, or maybe only had faced off once or twice, like say in a house show type of situation.
Right. All right. Our next match is 1-on-1 for the Heenan Hardcore Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I get to choose.
You do.
Who goes here? And I'm going to give you Hercules. Guy carries a chain. So.
Yep. And, I figured I had one match at least that I knew I was going to job without argument. And this is going to be it, because you're getting the Red Rooster.
Terry Taylor, by all accounts, does not like to talk about his Red Rooster history. Takes himself very seriously, wants to be looked at as a world class wrestling talent. And I would love to see Hercules whip him with a chain here.
Yes. Yes, yes, I'm with you there. The only other thing would have been I would have put Rooster in the opening match, and I think that's a tighter argument between Link and Rooster, actually.
I would still have given that to you.
I would have gone to Terry Taylor too, but I think that's Wace Hennig in a hardcore match, and Wace is Kurt. So I figured, Rooster is just going to eat the loss in the hardcore match, but I think that most fans would love, as you mentioned, to see Terry Taylor get whipped with a chain.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So my first and possibly only win of the night here. We have a hardcore champion. His name is Hercules. All right. So the next match is a tag team match. We could have a winner take all tag team championship affair based on who wins this. But you get first pick, Leonard. I think I know who you're going to go with, but go ahead.
You're getting the Brain Busters. You're getting Arn and Tully.
All right. And I am going to give you Paul Orndorff and Rick Rude.
Wow.
So I think we got 4 bona fide heels here.
Yes.
And I feel like even though we have 4 natural heels, this would be so fun to watch.
This would be a great match.
Yeah. The X factor is Paul Orndorff and Rick Rude, both really good on their own. Have never been a tag team. I selected them.
And both had limited tag team wrestling as well. I know that Rude did tag with Manny Fernandez quite a lot in Texas and I think Florida as well. I don't remember Orndorff ever really having a regular tag partner.
In only when he got to WCW, he was put with a bunch of different people. But
that's right. Yeah, that's right. But he was part of Pretty Wonderful.
Yeah. He was leaning more. I feel like he was a face a lot there, but
he was to some degree, and also too, I think he was tagging a lot because this is when he was starting to have real issues with his arm. If you watch WCW, you will notice the difference in the muscular definition of his arms. So this was definitely at the point where he was, running low on gas. And WCW here, he's in his prime, and I would say Rude is as well. Again, my main argument for the Brainbusters is that they were a legit tag team for a very long period of time, won a bunch of titles, worked very well together, are one of the best tag teams that I've ever seen. And that's considering the fact that both are really great singles wrestlers as well. And not so much Tully, but Arn has tagged with a bunch of other people and had great teams as well. Him and Ole, him and Larry Zbyszko. I want to say he and Bobby Eaton tagged for a while when they were in the Dangerous Alliance together as well. And Arn with other members of the Horsemen later on. So I think as good as Orndorff and Rude are, I think while I would probably put them over a lot of established teams,
right,
I don't think that you can put them over a team as good as the Brainbusters, who a lot of people even today would put in their top 10. And that's considering that if you go back and look, they didn't tag for that long of a period of time.
Right. No, yeah, I agree with you. And I would give this to the Brainbusters as well. For the reason you mentioned, looking at this match though, it would be very good. This is a match I would have loved to have seen. The fact of the matter is, I also love the Brainbusters finishing move, the pile driver spike. Sometimes that's the way Gorilla Monsoon would refer to it. I'm picturing in my head a combination of Orndorff's pile driver and Rick Rude's neck breaker, as a finisher. Like Rick Rude goes for the neck breaker, and it goes into an Orndorff pile driver.
Like he flips the guy into the pile driver from
the guy might be dead after that.
Yes, that guy would be dead.
But yeah, so this is a match I would love to see, which is why I picked who I did. But I would go with Brainbusters here.
All right.
So our next match, and I selected this for a reason. It's a one-on-one. It's a $100,000 hair versus hair match, and I believe, Leonard, the match at WrestleMania 1 was that 100,000.
I would have to go back and look. I believe it might have been, if it wasn't 100,000, it was 50 grand. But
Like
I
that's
believe it
something
was.
very easy to research that I didn't. But
Yes, yeah, I did think too. But
we're
yes.
going to call it 100,000 hair versus hair, and it's my turn to pick.
Yes.
And I am giving you Lex Luger.
Okay. And you get King Kong Bundy, who doesn't have any hair.
Okay. All right. Well, that's not playing fair, is it? No, but you know what? King Kong Bundy was managed by Heenan more in his prime, but as many faults as people will say Lex Luger had when he was a talent, he's just the better overall wrestler. Was known for, at least when he was in WWF, for besting bigger guys. And I liked him as the narcissist. I suppose that's what we should call him here.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, so I would absolutely go with Lex Luger here. How they would solve the hair stipulation at the end of this, I do not know. Maybe they give him hair, give him a wig.
Now he had hair early on when he was first wrestling in World Class. He had hair. He did not have hair when he got WWF. Specifically, when I saw that match, I was like, I want King Kong Bundy in that match because he does not have any hair. Because I was like, how can you screw the fans? Because you are screwing the fans if King Kong Bundy does the job and he's got no hair to lose.
I think that Luger pulls out a wig and tries to apply it to King Kong Bundy, who's out cold from the metal plate forearm.
Metal plate in the arm.
And that's how you do it. Kurt Angle style, you put on the amateur wrestling headgear.
Yeah, to hold it, and then you take it off. The only other thing I can think of is that we talked about, we didn't use Brooklyn Brawler. He could be the special guest referee, and maybe he gets in Luger's face, and Luger shaves Brawler.
You know what? That's, in all seriousness, back in this era, that's something they would have done. I mean, when Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, had that feud with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, who got their head cut? The Genius. So,
yeah, guy's haircut. Yeah. So I think that's what they would do. And the other thing I want to say here is I believe Lex Luger might be the last person that Bobby Heenan managed. He was at least the last person that he managed in the WWF. And I know they ran some angles where he kind of sort of still talked to the Horsemen, or was I think he was in the Horsemen's corner at one point, WCW. They did an angle where they brought him in Impact to talk to Bobby Roode at one point. That type of thing. But I think as an individual, I believe Luger was the last person that Heenan managed. This was in at the Royal Rumble in 93 when he debuted, that Heenan debuted him. And I actually wound up watching some TV from this time period. And they never explicitly talk as that Heenan is his manager, but they do talk like Heenan is his guy, his mouthpiece, his endorser, whatever you want to say. Because Heenan was not managing at this point, and I don't know if he was ever in Luger's corner, but very much so there was a relationship there when Luger debuted. So I just thought that was interesting to mention that Luger might have been the last person that Heenan more or less managed at one point. And this was 93, and he was a commentator, through WCW and a bunch of other things. But as much as I thought King Kong Bundy was going to be my ringer, because how can he lose? I think we both agree Brawler can take the haircut. And yeah, I did this just to see how you would talk your way out of it. But I'll give you Luger. I'll give you Luger on this one.
All right. And did you say Heenan was brought into Impact for Bobby Roode?
Yeah, they were doing. It was similar to I think what they did with Randy Savage. That
Okay.
they had a bunch of managers like trying to pitch him, like come with me. And if I remember correctly, there was a segment where Bobby Roode was in a limo with Heenan, and Heenan was like pouring like cheap champagne. I think gave Roode like an autograph picture of himself or something like that. We'll have to see if we can find. If we find, if you know what, if we'll find it, we'll make that like a segment surgery. If we can find those Bobby Roode segments, because I don't remember the other managers. Because I think they also brought in some other like legendary managers to for that segment. But I distinctly remember and watch someone in the comments say, "No, you're full of crap. That never happened." But I distinctly remember that happening. A Bobby. When we get off here tonight, I'll see if I can't find it real quick.
Yeah, yeah, I would love to do that. And Bobby Roode still on the shelf, from what I understand. Whatever, I forget what the injury is off the top of my head, but I understand it's pretty serious. It's a guy that I think is sorely missed and is very much, when he was around, very underutilized in WWE. I don't think WWE is the place where he will flourish. And I'm not saying
with Impact even being limbo, I think Bobby Roode, like James Storm, I think that's the place for them.
Yeah, I mean, where if he were to go anywhere else, wherever it may be, I think would be a better choice.
He gets lost in AEW. I think that they would use him in the NWA, but who watches NWA?
Yeah, I mean, like back when AEW started, I would have said that would have been a perfect time for him to go there. But AEW now has so much talent that I can't say outright that that would be a great choice. But chances are he's going to stay in WWE. But hopefully he comes back at some point. But all right, our main event, the Heenan Universal Championship, 1-on-1. We know who Leonard has left.
And we know who you have left.
Leonard, who you've given me.
You get the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Woo!
All right. That was, I think that was a little half-hearted. Like, you could probably applaud it. There you go. All right. And obviously you get Andre the Giant. And I know what you're going to say. Is this Andre in his prime? It's not. But how's Flair win? He can't. He can't. There is no way for Flair to win this match. No way in hell. There is just, Flair is one of the greatest of all time. And you know what? I'm sure that they wrestled because Flair has numerous Andre stories. If you watch some of those documentaries, where they wrestled and if it was taped, I'm not sure that occurred.
Probably Japan, if anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I just physically can't see, my brain can't compute Flair getting him in a figure four, or a roll up, or this is Andre all day.
Flair has beaten large opponents.
That's true. Vader.
He's beaten Big Show back when he was a Giant. He beat El Gigante, aka Giant Gonzalez.
Wow, you're pulling. I don't know if that helps or hurts you.
7-foot dudes. He has beat big guys. I don't have the whole list. I didn't know I needed to have the whole list. But Ric Flair has put on good matches with big men. He has defeated big men. I think the main question, I never thought about this until you brought it up, is, would Andre job to Flair? Because that was the big thing they said with WrestleMania 3 and Hulk Hogan, that they had to get Andre on board to job to Hogan. I think Andre would job to Flair because he likes Flair. As you mentioned, Flair has a ton of Andre stories. They were friendly with each other. I think that Ric Flair, is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, greatest champions of all time. He had a great run when he was in WWF and associated with Bobby Heenan. We've talked before about the Royal Rumble 92. And that great performance, great promos. Heenan, great on commentary with all that. He really, it depends. What do you say is Flair's prime? Flair's prime, I think, is anywhere from like 83 to like 95-ish, Yeah. So he was still very much strong at this point. I think it doesn't come down to, can I conceive of Ric Flair beating Andre in my head. It comes down to, would Andre do the job to Flair? And I think he would.
Yeah, I can't argue against that. I would say Andre would do the job. And the only conceivable to argue in your favor, that is, the only conceivable storyline I can see is I was thinking about, and I forget what event this was, where Blair was making the comeback and going against Vader, who in WCW, was an unstoppable force.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Vader.
They had the stuff with Flair and his family, and is Flair going to be okay after this match? And it was very dramatic, and it was a good storyline. And Flair won, against all odds and that kind of thing. And it made for a good storyline. So the way I would see it in my head. And by the way, who won in our part one? Was that Nick Bockwinkel?
It was Nick Bockwinkel. So
if in my head, like if Flair plays the face and Andre plays the heel as he was with Heenan, I can see that storyline of, can Flair overcome, the giant? I can see that working in Flair's favor. So I'll give it to Flair. And you know what? If anybody out there wants to comment, who do you think would win legitimately if this match actually happened at this time? Because
you got to be fair to Flair.
Because you got to be fair to Flair. And I think the better matchup to combine the titles is Ric Flair and Nick Bockwinkel.
Yeah, I mean that's a match. I think that did happen.
Yes, I think it did. Maybe not when both were in their prime, but it did happen.
Yeah, it did happen. I would have to go back and look to see when and who won. It's probably like a 60-minute draw. Is probably what it was.
Yeah.
But that would I think be an excellent match. I don't know how it turned out when it did happen. I would lean more toward Flair because Flair is, sort of more the icon than Bockwinkel is, although both was really, really good in the ring. And both are really good in the mic, even though they had different styles in the mic. But I think this is an excellent match, and I would give it to Flair. Yeah,
no, I mean, it would be a great match. And in reality, like you said, if this were actually being booked, it would have been a draw. But if we could pick a winner, I think that the logical winner in any era really would be Flair. So that would mean that Flair is not only our Heenan Universal Champion, but he is the Heenan Undisputed Champion. And you, Leonard, have won this, I believe, 4-2.
Yes, I won 4-2, and then I also have the extra win of Flair over Bockwinkel, who was your guy.
True. Yeah. So right. Rub it in. No. Yeah. This was. I wasn't confident in my team because you had a good strategy with the tag teams. So
I had a good. Real quick, because we are actually running out of time on our Zoom call. If we did, you had the tag winners last time. The Blackjacks. The Blackjacks versus the Brainbusters. Who do you think would win?
I'd probably pick the Brainbusters.
I would go them too. I think it's a good match. I think it's a better match than some people would think because I don't think that the Blackjacks they're just big brawler dudes. But I think they would put on a really good match with Arn and Tully.
Arn and Tully can work pretty much any style, and
with anybody. And I think they would pull it out. They would probably do some chicanery and win.
The Blackjacks were not nearly as televised and known, as the Brainbusters were across two companies. So, I think that they're the better tag team overall. So, So Leonard has won this heavily. And
yes, I had a plan. I executed it, and this is probably the first time where I probably got everyone I was looking to get.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, let us know what you think of our picks and who we decided would win these matches. Maybe there's some Red Rooster fans out there that think he should be the hardcore champion. I think he would fit better as a Heenan 24/7 champion. Maybe not a hardcore champion. That would be great. If Red Rooster was a character during that era of the 24/7 title, you could just see him only being used for that.
Yes, I think him and R-Truth would have had like a mini feud within that whole schmeal of
can we please get some people on board with the R-Truth Red Rooster feud? Like the stuff back and forth would have been great. I feel. Anyway, check out our other videos: segment surgery, random match reviews, stupid questions. This is one of our full-length episodes. We are available wherever you listen to podcasts as well. Again, subscribe to our content, hit the like button on our videos on YouTube, and let us know what you think. And for Leonard, my name is Chad. We will see you next week, and Alexa will see you out.